तली गली मेरी आओ।
जाओ तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, जाओ तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, जाओ तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, जाओ तो
खिलन का जाओ।
सिर तार तली गली मेरी आओ, सिर तार तली गली मेरी आओ,
तली गली मेरी आओ, सिर तर तली गली मेरी आओ।
इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै, तमार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै, इत मार्ग पैर
तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै।
इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै। सूरा सो पहचानिए, सूरा सो पहचानिए, सूरा सो पहचानिए,
सूरा सो पहचानिए।
जो लरै दीन के हेत, जो लरै दीन के हेत, दीन के हेत, जो लरै दीन के हेत। पुरजा पुरजा कट मरै, पुरजा पुरजा कट मरै,
पुरजा पुरजा कट मरै, पुरजा पुरजा कट मरै।
कब हूँ ना छाड़ै खेत, कब हूँ ना छाड़ै खेत,
कब हूँ ना छाड़ै खेत, कब हूँ ना छाड़ै खेत।
इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै, इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर
दीजै कान न कीजै।
इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै, इत मार्ग
पैर तरी जै, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै।
जाओ तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, जाओ तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, जाओ तो
प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, जाओ तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ।
सिर तर तली गली मेरी आओ, सिर तर तली गली मेरी आओ,
तर तली गली मेरी आओ, सिर तर तली गली मेरी आओ।
इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै, इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै
कान न कीजै।
इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय, सिर दीजै कान न कीजै, इत मार्ग पैर तरी जय,
सिर दीजै कान न कीजै।
जो तो प्रेम खिलन का चाओ, सिर तर तली गली मेरी आओ, सिर दीजै कान ना कीजै। वाह साध संगत जी, वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Today, Sangat ji, I want to go over the life story of a soldier that was present during Khalsa Raj. And he witnessed the end of Khalsa Raj. So, Master Tara Singh ne ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਲਿਖੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਸਿਪਾਹੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਅਟਾਰੀ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੌਜਾਂ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਕੀ ਬੀਤੀ. What did we go through when we lost the Khalsa Raj? What did the Singhs think about? What did they experience? And a lot of it is very humbling because you have to remember they're ordinary Sikhs. They're not just the normal, just the Chardi Kala prasangs that we hear. it really implores you to think, what were they going through? Why did they behave the way they behaved? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਬੀਤਦੀ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਡਿੱਗੇ? ਜਦੋਂ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਰਾਜ ਸੀ, why did they behave the way they did? So these are some of the questions that you must understand in order to understand your history. So there was a Singh named Baba Teja Singh. His name was Teja Singh. He was 19 years old and he was very active in his band. He loved wrestling, he loved getting around, he loved showing off. His bapu says to him one day, कि तू पिंड विच ही घुलदा रहना कि जाके किसी खालसे फौज विच भी भर्ती होना? Are you just going to keep fighting with people in the village, or are you actually going to go do something for the Panth? He goes, nahi bapu sahi gal hai, I should go and do something. So he used to love riding horses. So he decided, because he lived in the area, in the Pend, Atari. Atari, the Sardar, was Baba Sham Singh Atari. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਅਟਾਰੀ ਦੀ ਘੋੜ ਸੈਨਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ. I'll go and I'll join the horse cavalry of Baba Sham Singh Atari. He asks around and they say, you know, his Singhs are in this certain location. He travels to that location. He sees that there's one Singh named Gulab Singh sitting on a horse. The Singhs tell him, if you want to join the cavalry, go speak to Gulab Singh. He can get you into Baba Sham Singh Atari's Ghod Swar ho ja. He walks up to him and he says, Ki Hanji Singh Sahab, I'm ready to join your cavalry. And Baba Gulab Singh's in a very bad mood. And he looks down at him and he says, Pare ho Malvaiya. So he's from Malwa. He says, Pare ho Malvaiya, Ghode nahi tere kaam de, tu jaake gade to. He goes, you have no business riding horses. And he brings territory into it. He goes, you're from Malwa. You're uneducated. You should go and deal with donkeys, not horses. Now, Teja Singh was 19, hot-headed, and he didn't care that Gulab Singh was older. And he said, Minu eh pata saga ki Sham Singh Atari ne afsar rakhiya. Minu eh nahi si pata ki one, these are his words, not mine, ki one kutte majalli vi rakhiya. He says, I knew that there was officers in Sham Singh Atari's Fauj, but I didn't know he kept dogs that would bark orders from Maja. And Gulab Singh takes this personally. And he says, Ki kya tu? What did you say? He pulls out 2 kirpans. Teja Singh goes, uh-oh, I've only got my broken kirpan on me. Gulab Singh says, no, choose one of mine. Which one do you want? He goes, okay, theek hai, I can take you. Takes a kirpan from him. They start fighting right then and right there with each other. As they're fighting, Baba Gulab Singh, Teja Singh trips over a rock and falls over. Gulab Singh onu teacher karda. He teases him. He says, Sambala nojwana avde pair te uth. Take care of your footing and stand up. They start fighting again. As Baba Gulab Singh is moving back, his foot gets stuck inside of the mud. He trips and he falls. Baba Teja Singh mockingly goes, Hon tu uth avde pair samb. Now you watch your footing get up. And so as they're fighting, what ends up happening is Teja Singh takes a mark to his chest, a mark to his baan, and he's starting to think, Main te ustad bande na panga lai baithya. I'm fighting someone that's actually really good at fighting. Gulab Singh is thinking in his head, my God, I don't know why I'm messing with this young cat. He's just not getting tired. We keep fighting and fighting, and he's just not getting tired. In this time, what happens is 2 Singhs come running over and they notice they're fighting. So quickly Teja Singh and Gulab Singh hide their kirpana. And the Singhs show up and they go, it's too late. Baba Sham Singh Atari found out you guys were fighting, and he's told us to come and arrest you and bring you in front of him. So they arrest them. They bring them in front of Baba Sham Singh Atari. Baba Sham Singh Atari, without asking any questions, looks straight over at Gulab Singh, who's the older, the captain, and he says, Gulab Singh, menu das, teri kedi ghodi khod vich fasi si jehda tenu khanda ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਕੱਢਣੀ ਪਈ. It's hard to translate, I'm sorry. But he was saying, why did you have a need to pull a sword out to resolve your problem? That's a neat way to put it. And he says, do you have any idea what's happening inside of the Khalsa Raj right now? And you guys are fighting. And for what? Says to Gulab Singh, he says, Hari Singh Nalwa has gone and given Shahidi. Akali Baba Fulla Singh has gone and given Shahidi. Maharaja Ranjit Singh is on his way out. No one is allowed into his court. All of the treacherous folks around him have surrounded his ears. And you, my right-hand man, are not doing what you need to do. Instead, you're out here with hankar. He says, the hankar that you have is not justified. Kede hankar de naal tu eh teg kaddi. And he gets really angry here. He goes, tu apne aap nu ki samjhda? What do you think of yourself? That just because you're a captain in the Khalsa Fauj, you can sit on top of a horse, pull out a sword, and curse at anyone, talk down to anyone? Do you think that's justified? He says, let me tell you something about the Raj jehda tu maan kar raha. Let me tell you about this Raj. He says, one time Maharaja Ranjit Singh took over an area. Kende, eh odi ona di gadwei di dassan di gall a. This story of Maharaja Ranjit Singh is written by their personal assistant. Maharaja Ranjit Singh gets a tiny bit of ego in his own head over having taken over an area. He comes into his own room, looks into the mirror. Sham Singh Atari is telling this to Gulab Singh. Looks into the mirror and he goes, Ve kaneya. Kana is a derogatory term for someone that only has one eye. And Maharaja Ranjit Singh is saying this to himself. Ve kaneya. Tenu kede cheez da maanaya? What are you egotistical about? About this Raj? About this jung? Your dushman has 2 arms, you have 2 arms. Your dushman has 2 legs, you have 2 legs. Your dushman has 2 eyes, you have 1. You've already lost. This Raj isn't even yours. This Raj is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Takhtan de Malik. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the father of this entire universe. O lekhde ne, inhi ki kirpa ke saje hum hain. Nahi mose gareeb karod par hai. With the kirpa of the Khalsa, I exist today, or else there's tens of millions of poor like me. Look at the humility. As he says this to himself, he grabs his dadi. Maharaja Ranjit Singh grabs his own dadi, pulls it down, and starts to slap himself. And says, Tenu kada maarnaya? What are you egotistical about? And he slaps himself again and again and again. And he says, don't fall into ego. This is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Raj, not yours. Sham Singh Atari says this to Gulab Singh. He goes, Tenu maarnaya, you're egotistical about being on a horse as a captain under the Raj that is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's. What's wrong with you? Do you have no shame? And then, for you to be so low that you pulled a weapon out for your use. He goes, this weapon is our peer. Saif Sirohi Sahati, yeh hamare peer. It is supposed to tell us what to do. This peer is supposed to tell us what to do. And today you've decided to become the peer of the Shastra and pull the Shastra out for your own courage. Look at Gursikho, the jummevari, the responsibility of carrying a kirpan. You don't pull it out for your own kam. You pull it out for Panthik courage. And the peer itself, the Shastra itself will guide you. After saying all of this, he looks at Teja Singh and he goes, Kyon vi? He goes, Tenu bada shaunk chala teg chalaun da. He goes, you're so excited to wield the sword. What's wrong with you? He goes, I'll forgive you because you're young, but you have to calm down. And he goes, Nay, I'm so sorry. And Gulab Singh Ji goes and he falls at Sham Singh Atari's feet. And Baba Sham Singh Atari takes a step back and he goes, don't fall at my feet. go to the Guru, do an ardas, ask for forgiveness, get in front of the Sangat, and ask the Sangat for forgiveness. Once they forgive you, wash their dishes, clean their shoes, and do their seva. He says to Gulab Singh, for an X amount of days. For Teja Singh, he goes, you just have to go and ask for forgiveness. You're young, I'll forgive you. You're only 19. Then he goes, for your second punishment, from now on, Gulab Singh, you will be the ustad of Teja Singh. You will teach him everything you know about Shastra Vidya. This is their justice. This is the way they teach them. And then he says to Teja Singh, he goes, Aj don tera naam Tega Singh. Since you love the Teg so much, I'm going to call you Tega Singh from now on. And that's why the book was written under the name of Tega Singh, about him. Tega Singh then explains what it was like to be under Baba Sham Singh Atari's Kod Sawar Faujan. How they would go into villages and take out evil bandits. They would take out dakus that were going after the rich, that were going after the poor, that were killing people. They would go and they would handle them. And they would give them justice. Sometimes the justice was taking their head off. There was such a daku that would come in and only steal from women. Baba Sham Singh Atari said, there's no space for such a coward in the Khalsa Panth. Go and take his head off. Judge, jury, and executioner right then and there. And they went and they did it. Then there was such cases where two Musliman men, Nur Shah and Ahmed Shah, go and kill a Sikh, and his wife reports it to Sham Singh Atari. Long story short, what happens is Baba Sham Singh Atari figures out who the killers are. After they figure out who the killers are, the justice they deliver, after understanding the story, is to have them whipped for 30 days straight. After that, they said, I can't kill you because I would do the same to you as you've done to her wife, to his wife and children. And now his kids have no one on their head. And if I kill you, then your wives and your children have no one on their head. That really got me thinking. I go, think about the justice system today. We'll throw someone into prison for 25, 30 years, or we'll execute them. And then that's it. That's another lineage of people that aren't getting justice. The Khalsa really thought about their justice. And in this instant, Sham Singh Atari, when he delivers his justice, what ends up happening is he starts teaching them about God through Islam. He says the rest of your punishment is every day you have to go to the masjid, to the mosque, and you need to pray 5 times a day, and you need to connect to Allah. That's the punishment he gives. They turn such a page in their life that these two brothers begin to do all of the farming for the Sikhni, for the Singhni, so that she doesn't have to worry about anything. Baba Sham Singh Atari had given her land, all of that. They would go then and they would farm that land. When Sham Singh Atari found out, he invited those two into his house and taught them more about religion. Didn't try to convert them, taught them how to find Allah through the lens of Gurbani. Look at the next level thinking of these things. Look at the type of justice they would deliver. So Teja Singh asks, and he says, won't Maharaja Ranjit Singh be mad that you just let a killer off? And he goes, let me tell you about what Maharaja Ranjit Singh would do. He goes, one time there was a thug. This thug named Marn Singh would go in and do dakati, thievery of really rich people. And Maharaja Ranjit Singh found out. Maharaja Ranjit Singh was like, look, it's not good. These are our taxpayers. These are our citizens. We need to protect them. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh put out a reward saying whoever captures Man Singh will receive a village. I will give them an alaka, a village. 10 pend main daunga. 3 villages I will give as a gift. So when he spreads that news, you know what Man Singh does? Now look, I want you to remember something. You have to be, as Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Raja over Singhs, and Singhs are the most difficult people to lead over because each one is a Pacha. How do you lead over a group of people that all think they're king? So what Man Singh does is he posts in the middle of the night he posts a paper on the Lahore Darbar that says, if you capture me, Man Singh alive, I will gift you Lahore. Man Singh bhi Singh si surma si. If you can capture me, I'll give you Lahore. Maharaja Ranjit Singh sees this and laughs. And he goes, you know what? Call off all search for Man Singh. I'll go. Main aap jaunga. And he takes a small contingent. And they find out where he is. They track down Man Singh. And he's with a larger Fauj. And mind you, Maharaja Ranjit Singh is dressed up as a regular guy. So you can't tell it's Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And what he does is, Man Singh says, who goes there? Who goes there at night? And Maharaja Ranjit Singh's like, we're just passing through. He goes, get off of your korde and come surrender. Maharaja, again, this is his words, not mine. Misogyny wasn't a thing back then. He says, Sade keda moriyan chudiyan paiyan jadiyan asi ਐਵੇਂ ਘੋੜੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੱਥ ਜਾਈਏ. Goes, we're not wearing jewelry and bracelets that you want us to just get off of our horses and come surrender to you. Right? And Man Singh goes, who are you to talk to me like that? And Maharaja Ranjit Singh goes, well, you have this huge army around you. Of course you feel like a warrior trying to tell me what to do. If you were a real man, you'd come see me one-on-one. And this is his plan, to get him to go one-on-one with him. Man Singh bhi chauda ho ke kehda, theek ya, chal aaja, let's go one-on-one. Maharaja Ranjit Singh goes, but if I defeat you, will you give me Lahore? And he says, yes, I will. I will give you Lahore. He says, chal aaja. They fight. Ten pair. They fight with one another. They're huffing and they're puffing and they're tired. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's fighting style was very defensive. He was not on the offense too much. Lots of blocking, lots of evading, lots of maneuvering. He was really short. He was like 5'4", I think, around that height. So he really kept his calm. When he saw that Man Singh got tired, he took his kirpan, waved it up out of his hand, tackled him to the floor, sat down on his chest and said, give me Lahore. Man Singh laughed. He knew he'd been bested. He laughed and he said, chal theek ya, fine, I'll give you Lahore, but bring your army, my army, and let's go attack right now. Maharaja Ranjit Singh, still he doesn't know it's Maharaja Ranjit Singh sitting on his chest. Maharaja Ranjit says, okay, let's do it. They get together, they start walking. Maharaja Ranjit Singh puts his arm over Man Singh and says, Aaja Lahore te Raj karte hain. And they walk to Lahore. And as they're walking, a Sipahi sees at the doors that Maharaja Ranjit Singh aa gaye. Maharaja Ranjit Singh ne ishara kita. He gives a signal to one of the Singhs. The Singh runs over, shuts him up, tells him, go inside, don't give away what's happening. They go inside and Man Singh laughs and goes, Theek hai, mainu pata lag gaya, tere ko kala hegi hai. Fine, I know that you have some tricks up your sleeves. And Maharaja Ranjit goes, oh, you like that? He goes, yeah, I like that. He goes, wait until you see this next trick. The doors of Lahore open, the Darbar. Lines of soldiers are lined up. Nagare are playing. The Sangh is being played. Maharaja Ranjit Singh walks in and people are saluting him with guns and swords and bowing to Maharaja Ranjit Singh entering. And Man Singh just looks over and realizes what's just happened. And he just goes, oh my God, you're Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And he goes, Dekh Singha, tera vada si ki tu mainu Lahore denga. Mera vada si ki main tenu fadunga. Donne Singha da vada pura reh gaya. He goes, you're a Singh. You made a promise that whoever defeats you get Lahore. I got Lahore. And my promise was that I'll bring you in. I brought you in. And he goes, yeah. So he goes, as your punishment, I'm going to put you into the Faujan of Hari Singh Nalwa. You're daler. You're strong. I want you to be under a strong leader and learn how to be a man. Stop stealing from people. What are you doing? These are the justices. Think about this. These are our forefathers. This is our history. Look at the way they would navigate a situation and get you to be a better version of you. Right? So Sham Singh Atadi says to Tegha Singh, why would a Maharaja like that be mad at me for forgiving a killer when he himself does it in order to make someone better? We're talking about killers. You might think, oh, there's no justice in that. But then why did Guru Nanak Dev Ji forgive Koda Rakshas? Why over and over again have Gursikhs found a way to take terrible people and turn them into amazing people? Because that's what you do as a good Sikh. Khair. Khalsa Raj begins to fall. Maharaja Ranjit Singh dies. His darbar, whoever switches into the seat, ends up executed. About 3 kings are executed in different ways. Different instances that were created by the Dogre. The Dogre were the treacherous fiends in the darbar of Lahore. Rani Jind Kaur writes a letter to Baba Sham Singh Atari. She says, I have no other allies left. You're the last Sardar remaining. Every other Sardar in Khalsa Raj put their poosh between their legs and they ran. They said, Asiki lana goreyan de panganch. What do we want to do with these colonial beasts, with these Englandis coming in? Let's just leave. Let's get out of here. They left. They say to Sham Singh Atari, come with us. We've got our money, we've got our wealth, we've got our families. Let's get out of here. He goes, Mera tan man tan. Mera har ek sa is Khalse Panth da ya. Main aapda tota vad lਵਾਂ. Mere, you can peel the skin off of my arms, but I cannot leave the Khalsa. The Khalsa is still here. I can't, for me it's not just a dish, it's about giving my head and my being to the Khalsa. Look at that leadership. You have a leader. You have a leader that's not in love with the land, but he's in love with the Khalsa. And he says, if he says, every one of my breaths belong to the Khalsa. I will live with them. I will die with them. I will fight for them. I will give shahidi for them. This, you have to realize, there's a difference between an Aam Sikh and a Khalsa. The day the Aam Singh says that I will give my life for the Khalsa, no one can beat us. That's the love you should have for Khalsa Panth and Guru Granth. Baba Sham Singh Atari gets ready for the fight. Mata Bibi Jind Kaur, Rani Jind Kaur writes this letter. He gets his soldiers together. He knows. He goes, More jaake apne na gadari honi hai. He says it. He goes, Par main hun ki kar, what should I do? Even if we are going to get betrayed, what should I do? I have to go. I have to fight for the Khalsa. As they arrive, Lal Singh says, I will send reinforcements. And with our reinforcements, we can defeat them. What Lal Singh does instead is, as Sham Singh Atari's Faujan move forward across a bridge over the Satluj, Lal Singh and his Faujan burn the bridges and leave. Their reinforcements never showed up. They have no exit plan. And Lal Singh and his Faujan led Baba Sham Singh Atari's Faujan into the center of a flank. And Baba Sham Singh Atari looks at his Faujan. He laughs. He pulls out a white piece of cloth. And he says, my final rites are done. Mera antam sanskar ho gaya. Aj apa Delhi de takhtan te bavange. He goes, today we will kill all of these Gore and we're going to make our way to Delhi and we're going to kill everybody in Delhi and we're going to get onto the takhts of Delhi and we're going to sit there. Neta Sham Singh Atari ni. This is the promise he makes to his Sena. He takes that chitta kapda and he wraps it around his head and he goes, Lalo ji, mera antam sanskar ho gaya. Aj jene mere naal auna hai, shahidiyan li tiyar ho jo. Get ready for shahidi. There's nothing else left behind us. This is it. All of the Singhs get hyped up and they're right behind him. Baba Sham Singh Atari rides in. He's killing these Gore left and right. As he's going in, Harjot Singh ji, oh, kadlo. As he's going in, he starts to take off Gorean de Sis. Everybody starts to realize that he's the problem. They start taking aim at him. He's taking bullets to the legs. His horse falls, dies. He's not able to get up. His Gurdvei comes, carries him and says, Baba ji, apa Atari Pend halle vi ja sakde hain. We can leave to Atari and go back. Baba Sham Singh kehinde, chup karke mainu ਘੋੜੇ te rakh. Pick me up and put me on the next horse. They tie him down into the horse. He lets out a jacana. Bole soneala, Sat Shri Akal. And he rides in. And he's taking off heads. He's shooting from his kamar kasa. He is full-blown ready. Looks like the god of death has stepped onto the field. He's taking off heads. He's making blood happen. His eyes, his nettar are lal. They say 20-something bullets went through him. And the Yodha was still staring at the British, saying, Aj main nahi jan tusi nahi. 26 bullets through his chest, through his body. And he has so much josh. Kalgitar pita nu ta ke ladi ja reha. Every ounce they have, they've put it onto the field. Baba ji aao. This is the poem that was written about Baba Sham Singh Atari's battle.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸ਼ਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਹੈ ਰਣ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੜਿਆ, ਉਹਦੀ ਨੈਣੀ ਭਾਂਬੜ ਭੜਕਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਚੜਿਆ। ਹੋ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਵੇਖ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਗੁੱਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੜਿਆ, ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਸੜਿਆ। ਆਖੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਮਾਰ ਤੈਂ ਪਾਪੀ ਹੈ ਅੜਿਆ। ਉਸ ਚਾਨ ਚੜੀ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਜੇ ਹੱਥ ਫੜਿਆ, ਫਿਰ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਰੀਝਾਂ ਸੂਰਮਾ ਜੰਗ ਅੰਦਰ ਲੜਿਆ। ਉਸ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਨੇ ਕਰ ਲੋਥਾਂ ਧਰੀਆਂ, ਉਸ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਨੇ ਕਰ ਲੋਥਾਂ ਧਰੀਆਂ। ਹੋ ਆਰੀ ਪੁੱਤ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਉਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਚਰੀਆਂ, ਹੋ ਰੰਡੀਆਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਜਾਮਦਾ ਪੱਛਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਪਰੀਆਂ। ਹੋ ਰੰਡੀਆਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਜਾਮਦਾ ਪੱਛਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਪਰੀਆਂ। ਕਈ ਰੁਲਦੀਆਂ ਫਿਰਦੀਆਂ ਟੋਪੀਆਂ ਲਹੂਨੀਆਂ ਪਰੀਆਂ। ਹੋ ਘਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਨ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਸਿੱਧੀਆਂ ਗੁਲਜ਼ਰੀਆਂ। ਹੋ ਬਹੁਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਨਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਹੋ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਮਰੀਆਂ। ਉਹ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਂਦਾ ਲਲਕਾਰੇ, ਉਹ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਂਦਾ ਲਲਕਾਰੇ। ਅੱਜ ਜੰਗ ਅਖੀਰੀ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਰ ਲੋ ਚਾਰੇ। ਹੋ ਵਾਰੋ ਦੇਸ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਾਣ ਪਿਆਰੇ, ਅੱਜ ਵਾਰੋ ਦੇਸ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਾਣ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਹੋ ਮੰਦਾ ਹਾਲ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਰਣ ਚੋਹਾਰੇ। ਹੋ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਆਖੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨਕਾਰੇ, ਹੋ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਆਖੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨਕਾਰੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਿਰ ਤੋਪਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਈ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣ ਮਾਰੇ। ਉਹ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਵਰਦੀਆਂ ਆਖਦਾ ਏ ਭੈਣ ਪੁਹਾਰੇ, ਉਹ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਵਰਦੀਆਂ ਆਖਦਾ ਏ ਭੈਣ ਪੁਹਾਰੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸੁੰਦਕ ਹੈ ਸੀ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਥਿਆਰੇ। ਹੋ ਉੱਚੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਾਜਡੀ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਟਾਰੀ। ਉਹ ਪੁਰ ਵਿਦਾ ਖਾਕ ਤੇ ਪਿਆ ਪੈਰ ਪਸਾਰੀ। ਉਹਨੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਾਮ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਦਾ ਲੰਮੀਆਂ ਮਾਰੀ। ਉਹਨੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਾਮ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਦਾ ਲੰਮੀਆਂ ਮਾਰੀ। ਹੋ ਆਖੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਅੱਜ ਹੋਈ ਖਵਾਰੀ। ਹੋ ਆਖੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਖਵਾਰੀ। ਹੋ ਆਖੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਖਵਾਰੀ।
The last line was, he says to Ranjit Singh, Aj tere Raj di ho gayi khawari. Today, this Raj it no longer has its husband. It's done. It's over. And just like that, Baba Sham Singh Atari, 26 to 30 bullets in the chest, in the Madan, lays his life and he gives Shahidi. And here begins the heartbreak. The last Sardar of the Khalsa Raj falls. And what does the Fauj do? Remember, there's a difference between Khalsa Fauj and Sikh Fauja. They see that Baba Sham Singh Atari has died, and the Singhs get scared. And they start to run. They run and the British close in. As the British close in, the Singhs dive into Satluj, the river, to try to find some way to find another day to fight again. As they jump into this river, there's some Singhs that can't swim. There's Englishmen standing at the banks of the river shooting into the river, killing Singhs as they're trying to swim and get away. Teja Singh is carrying some Singhs in the water, trying to swim away. He passes out. The flow of the river current takes him far. Someone in the village saves him. They pull him out. They take care of him. They recognize this is Sikh Fauja. They lay him down. They're taking care of him. And as he's laying there alone and he gains consciousness, he gets darshan. He gets darshan of Baba Sham Singh Atari. Baba Sham Singh Atari, who is now given Shahidi, comes to the bedside of Tega Singh and says, Aj to tu Sikhni, te main tera ustad nahi, te Guru Gobind Singh Ji tera pyo nahi, and walks away. He says, from now on, I am no longer your ustad. From now on, you are no longer a Sikh, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji is not your father, and walks away. And Tega Singh realizes what he's done wrong. He didn't leave it all on the battlefield. He ran away. He ran away and committed such a mistake that would haunt him for the rest of his life. And mind you, he's telling this story in a cave as an old man, crying, telling Master Tara Singh the mistakes they made. The Singhs that survived that day, most of them became beggars. They would beg on street corners. They would ask for rations. They tried, don't get me wrong, the ones that survived, they tried, they went and they tried to fight again with other leaders. But what they started realizing was all of the leaders were sold out. Another Gulab Singh comes. He goes, I'll lead you guys. Not the same Gulab as before, another one. Another trap. Gets more Sikhs killed. More Sikhs run away. There's no solid leader left. There's no one left that cares about the Khalsa. There's no one left that cares about the Sikhs. Everyone is just running, trying to figure out what's going on. As they're running, as they're begging, as they've literally lost their Taj, they've lost their Patshahi. And listen, it's easy to look at him and go, how could they? But this is why it's important to understand, without the Guru's Kirpa, we're nothing. Look how Daler Tega Singh was. And even he, in the heat of the moment, ran without thinking. It's your instinct. Until your instinct doesn't become Sir tar tali gali meri aao, give me your head. Until your instinct doesn't become, I'm already dead, how can they kill me? It's just not possible to do what Baba Sham Singh Atari said. Shahidi is a blessing. It's not something you can just go and attain. It's blessed. These guys, they run. Then they hear that the British have put out a command that we will give, they tell everyone in the south of India and themselves that anybody that has case that looks like a Singh, kill them. You know what Sikhs start doing? Again, this is not that long ago. I want to give you perspective. Raise your hand if you know someone that went through 1947. 1947 is as far from today as it is from Khalsa Raj. If you knew someone in 1947, they knew someone in Khalsa Raj. Do you understand how ripe your history is? It's very recent. Khalsa Raj de sikke, karpana, sara kuch pe apne ko halle. We have all of it. It's not that long ago. You know what those Sikhs did when they found out? They started to cut their case. Ki kisi nu pata na lag jave ki asi Sikh hain. It's better that we live than we die. So why don't we cut our case now and we'll keep them later? You see how the ball just keeps rolling lower and lower. As they're cutting their case, Baba Tega Singh begins to cry. As he's crying, he's saying, will we ever get to see Khalsa Raj again? Will we ever get to see Sikhs? Is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Khalsa Panth dead? Is this over? Imagine every Chardi Kala Gursikh you know. If I take in my Jeevan, every Sikh I know, all of these Singhs have given Shahidi. And all I'm watching is that Akal Takhta Jathedar, the greatest generals, the greatest kings, all killed. Is Sikhi gonna last? Before we ran off to the jungles, but we had Chardi Kala Singhs. But what about now? We've run away, we're cutting our case, we're giving up everything. Are we gonna, and he starts crying. Sada kuch banuga, sada kuch hovega. And another Sipai that's sitting next to him, and he goes, Tum bhul gaya? Kalgitar chamatkar de chamkor da sakha. Did you forget that Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave his 4 sons without any shoes in his feet, went through Machiwada jungle, fought, established the Khalsa. He goes, that Kalgitar Pacha is still here. They will show us the way. As they're having this conversation, they find out about a news. What's the news? The British have decided to forgive Sikhs if they come outside to the main chonki near Darbar Sahib and give up their shastras in Amritsar. Pull out your kirpana, put them down, and we'll forgive you. Singhs by the hundreds and thousands, Singhs by the thousands were lined up with their 10 futtiyan, each one crying, bowing down to the Shastra, saying, Mata Chandi ji, aitki sanu maaf kar do, kite dwara sanu darshan baksho. Forgive us, Chandi, the goddess of war. And again, we're not talking about a Devi, we're not talking about a goddess. If you read Chandi Divar and you understand its metaphors, she rides a Singh into battle. She rides a lion into battle. The metaphor is that we, as the Singhs, are the lion. Chandi, the Shastra, is riding us. That's why they're saying that. The force of war. They're saying, you're parting from us now, forgive us. Because these were our peers, and we were tossing them in the streets and giving them up not long ago. As everyone is crying, and these Singhs are pulling out their shastras and they're dropping them, because mind you, they're thinking about their families, they're thinking about their children. It's easier when you're younger, but when death is in front of you, even the hardest of boys give up. They say, I can't do this. When death is in front of you, you think of your families. You think of your children. So they're thinking, it's okay. It's just a piece of metal. It'll come back one day, hopefully. See what I'm saying? As they're dropping them, it's Baba Teja Singh's turn. Baba Teja Singh can't bring himself to drop the kirpan into the pile. He looks up and he sees a horse. And he sees ki kathi vi tight banniya, that it's saddled up right. It's a strong horse. I can get out of here. And he just lets out a jakara, sprints towards the horse, knocks the horse rider off, gets onto the horse, and rides out of there. I can't let go of my shastra. Bina shastra ke sang narang ped jano. Without case and without shastra, know a man to be a sheep. That's Guru Gobind Singh Ji, not me. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says that. He could not bring himself any lower and become a sheep. He rides out of there on his horse with his kirpan still in hand. As he's riding out, the British send 5 South Indians to go follow him. As they're following him, They ride towards the desert. And he realizes that More, where I'm headed towards, is the enemy of the Sikhs. He's headed towards the Khyber Pass. And he's headed towards Iran. And he's like, there's enemies over there. These guys are my enemies. So he stops his horse. And he says, all right, guys, you got me. It's time for me to die. But I'm going to kill all 5 of you before I go. They get scared. They're like, all right, listen, you're not white. I'm not white. You're not a Britisher. I'm not a Britisher. How about you just put your sword away and you keep riding? We'll act like we never caught you and you got away and we get to go home and you get to go home. He goes, okay, if that's the way out, then that's the way out. Baba Tega Singh puts his kirpan back into his myan, gets on his horse, and leaves out of there. He heads towards the deserts. As he gets into the deserts, he finds a passageway. He finds someone that can take him to Iran. He thinks he can, use the Farsi he knows, because Farsi was the language in the Lahori Darbar, so he already knew Farsi. So as he was headed that way, he gets lost, he gets stuck in the desert. He's got no way of surviving, no more food, no more water, and he thinks to himself, he says, I'm the one that did the ardas in front of Guru Sahib when I was drowning in Satluj, ki Maharaj, is nadi vechon dubban nalon te tusi kise registan vech pyase maar lo. Please save me from Satluj. Rather than drowning, I'd rather die of dehydration in the middle of a desert. And now he's in the middle of a desert in complete dehydration. And he falls and he begins to cry. And he begins to realize that the dande of the Jamdut have started. His punishment for running away from the Madan, running away from his Sikhi has started. Because he was a part of the Khalsa Panth, he knew some juktiyan, he knew some tricks. In the early morning, so he had no more energy left. He's laying down. In the early morning, you know how dew gets on top of grass and you can, kind of see it crystallize? That's how it was in the Registan, but you could see it on the dirt. He knew, because the Khalsa Fauj was very tricky in how they could get water and food. He knew how to dig a hole, collect the dew in his shield, and get at least enough water to make it through the day. The idea hit him out of nowhere as he did his last ardas and said, Maharaj, forgive me. I understand that these are the Jamdut's dande now. He did this ardas. The idea came to him. He puts his shield. He gets his water. He drinks it. He sees a mountain. He makes his way over to the mountain, which takes a while. When he gets into the mountain, he finds a river. In this river, for months, he makes it his maryada to do ishnan early in the morning, to do his bhakti. He begins kheti there. He is surviving in this mountain. And every day after Nityanem, he's doing ardas in front of Maharaj, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Every day, he's doing these ardas bentiyan. There, he meets a couple of Turks. Those Turks come to try to kill him. He runs. Then he pulls his sword out and he says, let's fight. As they're fighting, a third person shows up. The third person is his Ustad, Gulab Singh. And he says, Tega Singh, what are you doing here? And he tells him what's happened back in Punjab. He tells him the situation the Sikhs are going through. And he says, but Gulab Singh, what are you doing here? He goes, well, I became a Daku. Remember, just last year, they were killing Dakus. Just last year, they were taking out bandits. Gulab Singh goes, I've become a bandit. And they get into this long debate where Tega Singh goes, why would you become a Daku? What's wrong with you? And in this debate, they arrive to a conclusion that it's okay to be a Daku if you steal from the rich and you give to the poor. They decide that they're going to become Robin Hood. Listen, I'm taking you down the path of Manmat. How far it goes and goes and goes. Now you're debating things like, oh, nakre chalda, this much is good, this much is good, this much is, and this much karke case vi kat le, shastra vi dete, daku vi ban gaye. We did every giri hoi harkat as a Sikh qaum. I won't say Panth, there's a difference. One's a community and one's a path. This is what Sikhs resorted to. Beggars, dakus, killers, gangsters. They did not follow the path that the Guru had laid. They become dakus. They continue their life. And what ends up happening is one night they go and they take over this house that's really rich, accidentally kill the male head of the house. His son comes after them, young, 15, 16. They don't want to fight the son. They say, "Tu rehn de, we don't want to fight you." He continues attacking. They kill him as well. And the mother, wife, the alone woman, crying. Ki tusi mera khasam bhi marta, meri aulad bhi marti. You've killed my husband and you've killed my son. And Gulab Singh, Tega Singh are standing there realizing that they have become the demons they used to defeat. This was the halat. This is the halat you head towards when you allow ego to guide your way. When you have no passion, when you have no purpose, when you have no guru, when you have no gurbani, when you have no netnem, when you have no forgiveness, when you have no ability to fall to the feet of your guru. This is how far you end up. And mind you, if I had just left the story in the beginning, you would have been like, "Vah, kya chardi kala sings." And now you're thinking, "Oh my God, you're disgusting." And you know why our mind is swinging like that? Because that's our culture. Either someone is 100% the best or they're an absolute zero. Either they're everything or they're nothing. That's how we view the world. His heart breaks so bad that he can't find the strength inside of him to fight anymore. He says, "I'm going back to Atari. I give up. I'll live under the Ingreji Raj. I'll farm. I'll give up everything. I don't deserve to live." Gulab Singh does the same. They go back. They start farming. And they spend the rest of their life asking for forgiveness and crying over what could have been. Wondering, will Khalsa Raj ever come back? And as Master Tara Singh writes this book, I know there's no Chardi Kala end, but this is my point. They're having conversations going, one day a Surma will rise. One day a Surma will rise and they'll help us. They'll pull us out of this. How much longer are we going to wait for a Surma to rise? How much longer before you realize that the only avatar you need to guide you is Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and he's right there. Maharaj is in his Sukhasan right now. You are the Khalsa Fauj. Or are we going to go down a path of selfishness, of manmat, blind, unguided, when you don't have to? Your Guru sits right there. There's no mistake you've made that isn't forgivable. Kor dukhin, anakhatyan, janam daridrang, mahabhikhyadan, mitant sagal, simrant har naam, Nanak. How? Nanak, jaise pav kas pasman karot. What does that mean? You could be a murderer. You could be the lowest of sinners. All of it is forgivable. How? The same way, by jumping naam. But how does that work? The same way you have haystacks of sins and you take a match and you light it and it all burns away. That's what these guys are trying to do. And Baba Tega Singh sits down with Master Tara Singh and he says, "Will you please write down a benti for me to give to the Khalsa?" And this is why I told you his entire Jivan. Not to pass judgment, not to go, "Well, if I was there, man, the chak dene si fatte," right? Is more to say, ek kisse naal vi ho sakda. Par tusi us bajorg di tutti atma di benti sunyo. I want you to hear, as he gets in his old age and reflects on his life, begging Maharaj every day for forgiveness, what message he has for you. And he says to Master Tara Singh, and I'll read you his Akhri Benti. He says to Master Tara Singh, "Vaheguru tera bhala kare. तू मेरी एक कहानी लिख के खालसा जी पास पहुंचा देवी ते मेरे वालों हाथ जोड़ के यह कह देवी." I want you to just do me this favor. Write down my story. Write down all of the mistakes I've made. We always get inspired by all the good that's happened, right? I want you to hear what it sounds like to hear a broken man. And he says, just deliver this to the Khalsa. And that's what I'm doing right now, is delivering you the message of a man that broke his soul. What does he say? Khalsa ji, ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਰਹੋ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਕਲਗੀਆਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਉੱਤੇ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਰੱਖੋ. Always stay ready and keep your faith in Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj. ਫੁੱਟ ਨੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਲਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਫੁੱਟ ਦੇ ਢਹਿ ਨਾ ਚੜਨਾ. Divisions have caused us to fail. Divisions have killed us, left us leaderlessness. Please do not walk the path of division. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਕਤਾ ਰੱਖੋਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਿਵੇਗੀ. If you keep ekta, the entire world will bow before you. Guru japo te Guru ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਗ ਸੰਗ ਹੈ. Keep jumping the name of Maharaj and the Guru will always stay with you. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਅਹੰਕਤਾ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਜਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੀ ਹਨ. But if you follow your ego, if you follow the man, then the jamduts are waiting for you. ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚਾ ਲਵਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਲੜ ਲੂੰਗਾ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦਾ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਕੇਸ ਕੱਟ ਲੂੰਗਾ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਛੱਡ ਦੂੰਗਾ, ਮੈਂ. Then the jamdut are waiting for you. And the entire story, he's explaining how the jamduts have beat him his entire life after doing what he had done. And today, Khalsa Ji, it is my benti in your charan. Where we are today, we have started on that path of fort, of division. We have started on that path of not recognizing love within one another. We've decided that we're going to just debate that my Gyani is better than your Gyani and let's fight about it. The whole world is beating you. Tell me what you have Raj over. Na koi bhakti, na koi seva. What do we have left? Te ਆਪਾਂ ਅਹੰਕਾਰ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਟੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਆ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭਗਤ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਾਕਿਆ ਹੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਆ. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put you into tel di kala. But I'm trying to get you to think inside, what is the difference between me and someone that ran from that battlefield? How do we change that? How do we become like Baba Shyam Singh Atari? How do we become like Akali Baba Phula Singh? How do we become like all of these greats and not like all of these that ran away? So my question to you, your takeaway, how will you put aside division? What will you do for the Panth? The Panth is waiting for you. Every person is trying to define what is the Khalsa. What is the Khalsa? And they fight each other. We're the Khalsa. The other side says, we're the Khalsa. Will you do what the Khalsa actually is? The purity, the Naam, the Seva? Will you walk on that path of the Khalsa? And when your brothers and sisters fall, will you grab them by the arm and pick them up? Or will you kick dirt in their face and say, you don't know how to follow Sikhi, you're trash? Because that's what we do. And when you do that, you end up with stories of people that fought Dakus and became Dakus. When you do that, you end up with stories of kings that turned into beggars. Why did this happen? Maharaj said, Ina vich hankarya. They're not nyare anymore, so I have no reason to do their prati. I will not take care of them. And that's what happened. How do we know that? Guru Gobind Singh Ji was in Jang one day. He's telling the Khalsa, hold the line, don't move any further. The Khalsa get jangi, like we do, and they go, Mara chak namange, and they started to push forward from the line. Guru Gobind Singh Pacha got on his horse and rode away in the middle of the war. The Singhs ran after him. Please, Maharaj, stop. He goes, no, tusi hukum nahi mande. You don't listen to my hukum. I'm riding away. Then they called out to Nila, which is Maharaj's koda. They said, Nila, bentiya rokja. And now Nila was a Bhagat himself. The koda stopped. Guru Gobind Singh Ji laughs and he goes, tusi Nile nu aapde wal kar liya. You've made Nila love you guys too much. And they go, Maharaj, please forgive us. We didn't know what we were doing. Please show us the way. Maharaj says, Chalo theek ya, but you have to hold the line. Maharaj goes back, the Singhs pull back, and they hold the line. So today I'm asking you, Are we trying our best to follow the Guru's hukum? Don't kill yourself with guilt either. I try but I fail, I try but I fail. Instead, realize that as long as you keep falling at Guru Sahib's charan, and as long as you keep trying an honest effort, you'll be fine. If you have that nimrata, the nimrata of doing seva, the nimrata of putting your own life onto the path of the Guru and putting these sa into bhakti and the Panth seva. That's what it comes down to. If you don't, there's no telling where you'll end up. How many stories have we heard of Gursikhs that have cut their case, that have taken off their shastras, that have lost their way? And I've just told you another really big one from Khalsa Raj. They're crying, wondering, and now look at us. Maharaj ne kinni kripa ki thi? They've put you into the biggest desh of the entire world. They've put you into America and Canada and England and Australia, the most successful nations in the entire globe. You reside there. You have businesses there. You have job opportunities there. You have the education of there. When the Mughals gave Nawabi to the Khalsa, they said, "Inanu Nawabi davange, we'll give them Nawabi." They will get lazy. They will get tired. And what they'll do is grow their stomachs and feast and drink, and then we'll tackle them and take them over. But do you know what Nawab Kapoor Singh did? He said, "We will take every penny and we will put it into the Kor Sawar Faujan of the Khalsa." And he built the Kor Sawar Faujan, and they became the most powerful force in the whole of South Asia. And they could not be taken over. Haq de naal Raj kaim kita. Aj aapa kes haq na Raj kaim karan di koshish kar rahe hain. Kedi taakat de naal? Maharaj, you are Padshahs. Think like Nawab Kapoor Singh. Nawabi is in your charan. You have the resources. You want to know if the Guru has done kirpa on you or not? Look around. You're sitting all around Gursikhs. You want to know if your Guru's done kirpa or not? You've been waking up every morning at Amrit Vela. You want to know if your Guru has done kirpa or not? Listen to the sakhis you're hearing. Your Guru has you held to his chest. And he's saying, "Potte, vadde hone da sama ho gaya. Shastra samb, Shastra samb. Handle the sword, handle the education. If you like prachar, do prachar. If you like seva of other kinds, do those sevas. Do some yogdan into the Panth other than being Twitter warriors. Other than debating each other about which color bana you should wear. Try to go do some bhakti, some seva, and do something for the Panth. Apne pra pen mar raha, and we're debating over what's in our lunch boxes. It makes zero sense to me. I'm not giving my opinion on all the controversial issues that I just gracefully tried to graze by. But what I'm saying is that how about we put those on hold while we handle the bigger issues? Are we eating the right foods? Are we taking care of our finances? Are we handling the oppression, economical oppressions we're facing in Punjab? Do we have bridges of non-profits and billionaires and the individual? Do we have ways to build leaders? Do we have ways to get our voice out? Have we thought of creative ways of putting this Panth forward? No. Twitter to time mile feri karange, right? And I understand that life gets tough and it gets in the way, but the honest truth is, Khalsa Ji, we need to hear sakhiyan like Bhai Tara Singh Wan like we did last night, and realize that right now your Maidan is the ability to sit peacefully in a forest in Connecticut, a sentence I never thought I'd say, and think about the Guru, think about the Panth, think about the future. So my benti to you as you go to sleep tonight, Bhai Sahib yesterday said, put your head into the gold of Mataji and feel her hand on your face. I want you to do the same thing, and I want you to ask Mataji, bentiya, just make me your Gursikh. Siddhe raah pa do. Just whatever you want me to do for this Panth, make me do. The ego stops us from doing that benti because we go, Khalsa khud khuda, main to pehle hi khuda haan, main ka to benti karan. I am already the king. Why do I need to do a benti to anybody? But do it to your mother. Do it to your father. Dhan Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Dhan Mata Sahib Kaur Ji, Dhan Shaheed Singh, Dhan Khalsa Raj. It will come back. Maharaji, it will come back with love and effort. So, as we continue the rest of the days of these camps, thank you for listening to your history. Thank you for thinking about these ideas. And I'm not blaming any one of you for anything. I'm just saying, rarely do we get the chance to sit down and think, what more can I do? What more can I do not just to connect my Gursikhs, but what more can I do to connect others of other faiths with Rabb, with Akal Purakh? What more can I do to serve? That's what matters. That's why we're here. To give our every breath to this Panth when we can and how we can through Grist. So Maharaj, I look forward to speaking with you all tomorrow, to spending more time with you and figuring out together that when we leave this beautiful campsite, how do we take our Sikhi and make it have an effect on the real world? How do we join arms to bring back our Raj, our Taj, the way our Guru showed us how? Thank you, Khalsa Ji, so much. Tuhade charna vich namaskar. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.